I could imagine it would be quite hard to like if you do a job for let's say like 10 years, I think it'd be quite hard to remember exactly how you started with that character.
Hi, Woody. It's lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, good. I think it's pretty late over there, no?
It's I think
Almost fine.
it's almost 5.
Almost. Nice. It's a cool breezy 9 a.m. here in LA. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Azi Arman. I'm Turkish. I am a BAFTA newcomer in my 4th year. I'm a writer and producer, and I work mostly in documentaries. So it's a pleasure to meet you.
Ready to meet you too.
Oh yeah, sorry. Nice to meet you too.
Thank you. Thank you both. I have been told to intro with a tea conversation. This is a virtual tea party. So are you a big tea drinker, Woody, or not quite?
I got a Fanta here.
Fanta, perfect. Let me just start off by saying congratulations for your incredibly talented performance in Come On, Come On. That was one of my favorite films this year. No exaggeration. I cried so many times in the theater, but a lot of that is thanks to you.
Thank you so much.
How did that feel?
It felt insane when I found out that we were nominated. I just got back from something. Can't remember. I think a walk, and we checked the phone, and we got sent a video, and it was the reading of like all the names, and when we heard Woody Norman, we started just jumping in the air. It was amazing.
Wow.
As soon as we just stopped like being fully hyped, a close family friend called us and said, "Did you hear?" And then that was like a 10-minute long conversation. It was just so fun. And when we texted Mike, we texted Joaquin, we texted everyone, and they were all so happy.
Tell me a little bit more about your relationship with Mike and of course with Joaquin. I've watched, some of the press materials about it, and I know how closely you guys work together, and how you said Joaquin always loves to make the other actors in the scene shine. So he will always take a step back. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, working with Mike and Joaquin is amazing because they're both very different but very similar, if you know what I mean.
How so?
They're very kind of like opposite, but then they are really close. And whenever me, Joaquin, and Gabby were working together, Mike would always call it the Bermuda Triangle because nothing would get done.
Right. And how come?
Well, Joaquin and Gabby, as soon as they met, they were like siblings. They would just laugh, they would argue, like jokingly argue, I think. But when I was added to the mix, it would just be like nothing would get done. It would just be laughing. And I think a bit of that got kept in the film.
It feels very natural, your relationship. So I agree.
There's a lot of semi-improv in the film. I would say about 25 to maybe 50% of the film was kind of improvised.
That's so much. That's like almost half the film. In a way, that makes a lot of sense for how like sweet and natural not only the relationships feel, but your interactions, the way, it doesn't feel like you're reading something off a page. It feels like you're living it. Congratulations on doing amazing improv at such a young age. But yeah, that speaks a lot to how smart the director was about bringing the right actors together.
Mike's a very talented director, and he always knows like what to do with a scene. He's very good at like obviously the direction. So if there's something that he doesn't like, he can kind of make it feel like it was your idea to change it almost.
That's a very diplomatic director's skill. I like that.
Very like sometimes it was always almost kind of scary because it would be like he definitely wanted me to change that, but I did it like almost subconsciously.
That's good.
Very good to be around. He's also just lovely as well.
That's lovely. Have you always known that you wanted to act, considering you've been acting for, I believe, 7 years now? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I always knew as soon as I found out what it was, I knew I wanted to do it. I think when I was off my first like advert I ever did, I knew I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Do you have a process, or is it very natural to you? Do you just like come on set and you're in that role, but you don't need to make any specific effort towards it?
I always feel like I just go with what happens. So if there's like a very dramatic scene, I'll just kind of let the drama happen. I don't really think about it. I just do it. But at the beginning with Come On, there was one scene that made it so I can do that, and that was the scene in the shop, the one where I wanted to get the toothbrush.
Yeah.
So I think that I stressed a lot about doing that because I really don't like shouting at people. So I was really thinking, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this. And then I did it. And Joaquin always says we saw something like change after that. That was like a big like learning point almost.
I like that. And I can imagine that doing something out of character for yourself for the first time as an actor must be a bit nerve-wracking, but you did an amazing job. Are there any challenges you have yet to get to? For example, you said you were afraid of, like, not afraid of, but reluctant to shout on set because it wasn't very you. Like, is there something else you're like, oh God, I would feel very nervous doing that if they asked me to? Is there something like that?
No, not that I can think of right now. I did just do a film that I was really nervous to do because I've always had quite a deep fear of the ocean. And so I did a job called The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is on a ship. So that was like, it took me weeks to be able to like look over the thing. And we weren't even filming in the ocean, we were filming in a pool, but it was really near the ocean. So look at that. And it was terrifying. But after that, I kept going in it and I kind of got over the fear, but it's kind of back. The idea of the ocean terrifies me. It's a massive.
Yeah, exactly. I would say
You
it
know
is.
what's there. You know what I mean?
I feel like we know more about space than we do about the bottom of the ocean, which is absolutely terrifying. I completely agree with you. Although
Yeah.
I will say I love the ocean now. I feel like the best way to conquer your fears might be to just dive headfirst into it. So when I was a kid, my parents used to take us sailing, and then as an adult, I learned how to scuba dive. And when you're in that much contact with it, suddenly that fear kind of goes away. Is there any dream character that you would love to play?
I always like to do stuff that's challenging.
And what would be a challenge for you? A character that is very unlike you? Is that what you consider challenging? Yeah, I think so too. I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards characters that are just like them. I don't know if I'm, like I said, a non-actor, but all the characters I've ever gravitated to are people that I saw myself in when I'm reading. But I think as an actor, you have to challenge yourself to do the opposite, to find things that are completely not like you. What do you think about other young actors that you've worked with? Do you feel like you have a lot of peers that you're with that are actors and young, or older actors?
I think a lot of the films I've been in haven't had any other children in it. There's only been a few I can think of right now where there's been other people my age. But working on that film with the other people my age is amazing. I still have memories, and I was like 6, I think 6 at the time. And I can still remember like all of them and stuff I did with them. I like to be friends with, or try and be friends with everyone.
That's great. That's great. It's good to be friends with everyone on set. I know you've worked in film and television before. Do you find them to be different or quite similar? And do you have a favorite between the two?
Yeah, film and television are very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
Like on TV, it's very, I don't know. It's hard to explain the difference.
When I think about film and TV, not that I'm an actor, TV show just goes on. Like you're in that character, especially like long running shows, like Doctor Who and this and that. Like I feel like you must stay in that character for months, even years at a time, which must be crazy for an actor.
Yeah, I could imagine it would be quite hard to, like, if you do a job for, let's say, like 10 years, I think it'd be quite hard to remember exactly how you started with that character.
I always wonder what it must have been like for the Harry Potter actors as well, growing up with one character. and they were so young when they began. So, you know, they start off when they're basically your age, I think, 11-ish. And then when they were done, they were adults. Do you think that's a good thing, maybe? Like, you don't remember how you started, but the character has evolved with you and you've kind of grown up with the character. That would be interesting.
Yeah, like what's that film? Boyhood, is that what it's called? Boyhood.
Yes, Boyhood. Yeah.
That
Love
was.
your niche references. Love it, love it.
I haven't even seen it, but I just know that it was like filmed over like 12 years.
And that is a film. That's not even a TV show. So it's
Yeah.
fascinating. Is there any film you watched this year that inspired you?
I haven't really seen many films this year. My favorite film of all time is The Nightmare Before Christmas, so I've watched that again. I love that film. I watched it for the first time when I was 5, and since then it's just been my favorite.
Some films just stay with you, especially if you watch them as a kid for the first time. They, you know, nothing can really take their place. They're like a core memory, right? And The Nightmare Before Christmas is such a classic. Obviously, you've worked with so many talents already, but I really want to know if there's any dream actor or director that you'd love to work with in the future. Do you have one in mind, just like waiting, like to manifest?
I really want to work with Wes Anderson. Pretty cool. And I want to work with Timothy Chalamet.
Do you know what? I can totally see that. I can totally see you in a Wes Anderson film. I think you would be absolutely amazing. I think that with an acting roster like yours, you're going to find incredibly, especially with your success this year with the nomination, I have every faith that we're going to start seeing you in very interesting characters going forward. It's been an honor to speak to you, to hear your thoughts on the film, on your nomination, on, you know, your process as an actor, and, you know, everything around that. Thank you so much for spending some time with me this afternoon, for you this morning, for me, and all the best during the BAFTAs. I'm going to be watching and keeping my fingers crossed for you, because you deserve that. Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.